Yeah, let's start the show. I love doing that. Even though it's not from my channel, somebody else, they say imitation is the something flattery, something. Hey, thanks for clicking on this video. My name's Lou. I'm a tournament bass angler, a kayak angler, just somebody who wishes he could be fishing every day of the week. So if that reminds you of yourself, go ahead and click that subscribe button down below. Also, head over to Instagram, check me out at beyondthebounds_outdoors and give me a follow over there. I'd really appreciate it. And if you like this type of video on this topic that I'm covering, then go ahead, check the playlist because there's a lot of information that I'm covering just on this playlist. And just on this topic. So, check that out. Let's get into some of the common myths that co-anglers have about fishing tournaments. Okay, so somebody asked this question right here and it says, yeah, I have a lot of questions. What kind of equipment would I need, or at least the boater expect me to have? Do you get assigned and talk ahead of time? Or do you find a boater willing to take you on? If you do well, can you stick with the boater you were assigned to for future events? What is fair to pay the boater? Is the prize money won split? If so, is it split evenly? I realize there are a lot of questions here, so perhaps a video on responsibilities of a co-angler or just how to sign up. Thanks. Always enjoy your videos. Man, I tell you, that's the kind of people that I like to do these things for. Like, that's the type of person that I'm here to help. I mean, there are so many incredibly, better than KVD fishermen that sit behind their keyboards all day long and like to leave nasty comments because they're so great. They're the gifts to fishing. They're God's gift to fishing out there. And I'm just a mess up who likes to make videos. All right, man. There's a lot of questions there, but you know what? For somebody who's just starting off to be a co-angler, it's actually kind of a hill to climb. You really do not know these things. Maybe you and I know these things because we've been around the scene for a little while, but just like with being a kayak angler, there's so many different little intricacies that you need to know. Like, is it online scoring? How to take a picture of a fish? A lot of different rules in there that really you need to know beforehand. And so let's get into some of these. What kind of equipment would I need? Well, for one, you need it's probably on this side. Yep. You need a darn awesome tackle bag, right? And I'll drop a link. So right there, right? It's hard to look at the screen and try to do it. Right here. That is the Ego CoAngler bag. It is absolutely the one you need. It's got great pockets, great storage. You can fit 4 small planos in that bottom portion. Again, review on that's going to be forthcoming, but drop the link down in the description below so you can find that on Tackle Warehouse. I actually think they're out of stock right now, so they will be back in stock hopefully real soon. Nonetheless, that's truly the first thing you need right there. You need rods, you need reels, you need a little bit of know-how on how to catch a fish. Those are just some of the basics right there. Another thing I would recommend is you have cull tags. I'd also recommend that you have your own PFD. Please do not show up because a boater might not have another PFD for you, and that creates a sitch in the morning to where you have to go scramble to find a PFD from either somebody and if you're just starting, you're probably not going to know a lot of people. So, luckily I've been in the situation to where now I do kind of know several people and know either former boaters or co-anglers, and I could probably get somebody a PFD if need be, but bring your own PFD. Rod straps, something to hold your rods together. Night Eyes is a great product. They got those just kind of bendy, not really bungee cords. They're like bendable ties that you can tie and retie around stuff. So those are some of the things that a boater is going to expect you to have. Gas money is going to be one of those too, which is one of your questions out here. You kind of asked about, what's good to pay the boater. $40 is pretty fair because you don't know how much that person's going to run. And keep that in mind that if it's a Costa Series event, which costs a lot more money, then, that boater's probably spent at least $500 in boat gas, but then probably another $500 or so in truck gas, right? or maybe everybody doesn't have a big old diesel like I do. But still, the point is that they spend a lot of money on gas for both the truck and the boat. So $40, while it's not even half of what a tank of gas for a boat costs, because it's going to cost around $120 or more to fill up from bone dry, and you'll probably use that and more in a day of competition, depending on where you're at, but it's very possible. So just keep that in mind. You know, maybe if you're on Champlain and that dude runs all the way down to Ticonderoga and then runs all the way back, you know, toss him a little bit more. Toss him 60, toss him 80, because it's tank to get down there, it's tank to get back. Just saying. That's for you Mercury boys out there running them Mercs. I'm sure it cost me the same on a Yamaha. I've just never made that trip yet, but I shall. All right, so back to it though. Do you get assigned to talk ahead of time? Absolutely. So when you sign up for these events, one, you're going to have to sign a waiver, but two, they're going to ask you for information, and you need to make sure that information is up to date. So if you're on Vonage and you change to Cricket Mobile or to Boost or whoever, or Verizon or whatever, you know, make sure that stays up to date, because say like the FLW system will not be, it'll mess up when it tries to send you a text alert. And what ends up happening is when you sign up for an event, the day before, right after check-in and the meeting, which now they're kind of doing virtual meetings, and so it's crazy. But anyway, they'll send you a text message, right? And that text message will have your launch time, and it'll have your pairing, your boater, and their phone number, right? And so go ahead and make the effort to call them, right? I really think it's the CoAngler's effort to call the boater. It should not be the other way around. The reason I believe that is simply because, you know, they're trying to get the boat ready. They're trying to get their rods and reel ready, trying to get the boat filled up, trying to get food, trying to go to sleep. You know, before a tournament, everybody typically goes to bed at like what, 1 o'clock, right? Not me, man. I try to get in bed at like 4:10. So when you get that text message, just go ahead and immediately reach out to them. They're going to be expecting that call around that time that text message comes out. So the other question of, do you have to have a boater willing to take you on? No, because when you sign up, what the tournament schedule, and I'm talking from FLW perspective as well, that the tournament is going to match signed co-anglers to signed boaters. Now, very important to know that just because you signed up as a co-angler does not automatically guarantee you entry into that tournament. You have to be confirmed, and the tournament will confirm with you weeks, months, depending on how soon you sign up. I typically sign up at the very first of the year, just pay all my entry fees and be done with it, because that puts me first in the queue. So when co-anglers come in, I'm one of the first to get matched with that. But that also brings up a very interesting point. There are things that are called links. And if you link with a boater, say you have a buddy who's going to be participating as a boater in that event, well, you can link with him, or you can link with him throughout the whole trail. That guarantees both of you a spot. It's kind of interesting. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to be fishing with your buddy. It just means that you're guaranteed to be able to compete in that tournament, and you don't have to worry about being confirmed. But that is also something that, say you're going to do that for FLW, you have to find that boater or know that boater and call in. You both actually have to call in and say, hey, I'm going to be fishing with Joe Schmo for all of these events, and they will link you two together. The other one, if you do well, can you stick with your boater you were assigned? Oh man, that would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? You always get to fish with the same boater. He's a great angler, and you're always out there just sticking fish and winning tournaments. No, unfortunately, what they're going to do is, if it's a multi-day event, you're going to fish, if you can make it all 3 days, you're going to fish with 3 different people, but you're going to fish with 2 different people during, you know, the first couple of days. So you don't get to stick with your boater throughout the rest of the year, which is a good thing. I mean, as a co-angler, you're there to learn, and it's very helpful to be put in different situations, fishing behind different people, so that you can see how they approach the water, how they handle their boat, how they position the boat during certain situations, just to learn to be a boater in general. Prize money. Is the prize money split? Nope, absolutely not. Again, we go back to being like a Toyota series or a Costa series, which is a level up in the FLW. It's a level up, costs more to compete than, say, like a BFL, which is a bass fishing league sponsored by Phoenix this year. So Phoenix BFL, you know, so $1,700 or so, or $1,500, somewhere in there, to compete in a Toyota series event, and, you know, maybe 200 to 300 for a BFL. So, keep that in mind that, the boater who wins or competes at this level, they're going to have much more of a significant investment of money in this tournament, a spend. You don't even want to call it an investment because this truly is high stakes gambling. But at least you're gambling on yourself. but you're definitely gambling against variables that are out of your control. But some of the best anglers in the world do it, so it is doable. What one man can do, another can do.
I'm gonna kill the bear! Good. What one man can do, another can do. What one man can do, another can do. Say it again. What one man can do, another can do. And again. What one man can do, another can do.
So, no, they're not going to split their money, and you as a co-angler should not ever be asked to split your money with them. So maybe I will retitle this as Responsibilities of a Co-Angler. But, hopefully that answers a lot of the questions that you had in this there, and I really appreciate the question, which is why I asked for it on that video to say, hey, what's something that you don't know? Because I realize that a lot of people, as they're starting off on this, just don't have this information. And being a co-angler can kind of be, I don't want to call it scary, but I'd have to pull up at the thesaurus. I'd have to pull up a thesaurus to think of another word for scary. Intimidating. That's kind of the word I'm looking for. Intimidating. So it can be an intimidating experience. And I don't want it to be that. I want you to go out there and have a lot of fun doing this because I had a lot of fun. Primarily, every single boater that I drew was a great person. And, I drew some real sticks. Like the guy that I drew at 1,000 Islands, Wayne Vaughn, he won the coasting. Man, he was just a week or two ago leading a Potomac event, a Potomac coasting. So, I've drawn some really good sticks. And, I've learned a lot from them. And learned a lot about myself and learned a lot about just fishing and making different presentations and running the boat better. And, I've become better because of being a co-angler. And I feel like every boater should spend plenty of time being a co-angler because you need to be put in that perspective. You need to be back there and, have that guy back boat you all day long on the final day of an event, the final day of a costa when you've got $3,000 on the line as well, a top 10, top 5 finish. And have that experience because I think once you do that, once you've had that done to you, you want to make sure that you strive not to do that to someone else, and you'll probably always position the boat fairly. Now, I'm not saying you don't keep a co-angler off certain things every once in a while. They'll absolutely do that. I'll absolutely do that. But I'm not going to spend all day trying to keep my co-angler from fishing good stuff. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this answers a lot of those questions, those common questions. It's just beginner questions that a co-angler might have. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe, hit that thumbs up. As always, don't back up, don't back down. We'll see you around.